My weed whacker broke about 3 months ago, and as you can see, these fence lines are just getting way overgrown. I had to do something about it. I wanted to try out a battery-powered weed whacker or trimmer, so that's what we're going to tackle in this video. Welcome back to another Jaff Reviews for you. And as you can see, in this video, we are looking at a battery-powered string trimmer. You know what? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. Here's our NovorikX 60V Cordless trimmer. Retails as per this video for around $240. Of course, you can find it on sale from time to time. Let's rip open this box to see what we get. As I was unboxing this, I was really impressed with the quality. This is made out of aluminum. Whenever I think of battery-powered trimmers, I think of cheap plastic. There is not a piece of cheap plastic on this thing at all. I was not expecting that, but that is super sweet. Realistically, the only thing that's plastic is this protector, but it's really thick plastic. NovorikX did not spare any expense building this. There is some assembly required, and it's very minimal, but during the assembly, I'm actually going to put the battery on the charger just to make sure it's completely charged up for first use. Orientation of the charger goes up like this, so now what we're going to do is we are just going to slide the battery down. This is a heavy battery. Of course, it is 60 volts. Oh, I already heard that charger kick on, and it is charging along. As it's charging, these lights will actually light up green. Right now, the first one is solid, the second one is blinking, so I've got a ways to go. I found my first disappointment. It's really not that bad. I was trying to look at the directions in the manual, but the print was so light I couldn't even see. But there's not that many parts anyway. So what we have is our lower tube is going to connect into the upper assembly. This little square should be up because it's going to latch into a little notch when you push it in. See how that locked in? To release it, what we're gonna do is we push this button and then we can pull it out. But you really wanna make sure that locks into place. Now that we're locked in, you can actually tighten down this little bolt on the other side just to make sure it's extra secure. But that's really it as far as assembling the arm. Let's continue our steps of install. The next thing we're supposed to do is actually install our guard. So what I've done is I removed the 2 screws that were already in here, and we're gonna hook this right onto our trimmer. You can see the receiving part on the top right here. What we do is we line up the holes right there with the trimmer, and I'm going to start these by hand first just to get them tightened, and then I'm going to be using the actual bit that they provided. Now that we're in, let's just start tightening these down. There we go, nice and tight. I am so impressed with how beefy this thing is. If we take a look at the guard, there is a guard extension that there are these 3 tabs that you can push in and pop off. There's also this spot right here which is supposed to adjust the line length, so you will take this tape off before you're using it, just to show you a few things on that guard. Let's continue with the install. We're going to go on to the best part, but first we have to take off the hardware that was there for transportation. Remember, this spins in opposite direction you would expect, so take this bolt out. And of course, this piece comes out as well. Now that we're set up, we're gonna put this pin inside, just spin this part around until you align it with the hole. There it is. That's gonna lock this piece in so I can tighten this down. I'm gonna align the piece on there and start spinning to my left. There it goes. Keep spinning until it's really tight. Mind you, this pin right here is holding it in place. Once I'm done, I'm gonna pop that out and we are installed. Let's install the handle. So what I've done here is I removed the bolt. I'm going to slide this piece of plastic out because I want to pry this piece to go around the handle itself, but you have to line it up to a spot. See this little indent here? That's going to line up to this other handle. We'll show you that in just a second. Put this on. There it goes. I'm going to turn it to the side. Hopefully I can get a good view of this. I actually want this little piece to meet into that groove. So let's see what we can do. Slides in place. There, it locked in right there. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my bolt back in and tie it all together. Now our handle is set in place, ready for us to use it. One last step before the battery completely charges and we can go. This is probably the easiest step, but all you do here is you take the little strap, clips on there, and that you can actually put around your shoulder so it takes some of the weight off of this trimmer. I did try this on, but I think where I have this strap right here is in the wrong place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop the handle off. I already unscrewed it. I'm gonna slide this part up above that latch just so it's up there. I felt that it was just, the handle was in the way and it didn't really help me at all. So let's put the handle back on. Now I'm gonna see if that works out better. I did do a test fit and it fit much better on me there. I actually could utilize this strap. So what you could do now is you find out what's best for you and then you tighten down the piece with the tools provided. Once your battery is charged, to load it, you just line up the groove lines and slide it into place. And there you have it. Of course, if you want to remove it, you push down this green button here and slide it right out. We are all ready to go. What you can't see on camera is I am wearing protective equipment. I have gloves, I have glasses on. Of course, I'm wearing long pants. I don't want to get hit with any of this mess going on. Let's kick this into gear. I started it off in high gear, and the first thing I noticed was how much power this is. You just saw me hit the fence with the string and actually pushed it back, so I immediately adjusted. I brought it down to low, and then I kept continuing trimming along this line. Since it's been so long that we've actually trimmed this line, I had to go back and forth a few times, and as you can see, I actually turned the trimmer sideways, trying to cut some of the grass out of the side of the fence. It actually worked out really, really well. Although it's not the way that this is intended to do, it worked for me. The trimmer has a 17-inch cutting width, which means you can get a large area of grass cut in a short period of time. It does have a dual string action. The only thing I will say is when I get into tall grass or weeds, sometimes that got tangled around, and although the trimmer didn't stop, I did have to manually rip off all that grass that got wrapped around the trimmer head. The motor comes in two different speeds. High is 6,100 RPMs and low is 4,500 RPMs. Of course, on high, you'll get less battery usage as you do if you just run it in low. You should note that completely loaded with the battery, this trimmer weighs 16 pounds, which if you're like me and your back can hurt over time, that strap comes in handy. Definitely something I would not operate this trimmer without the strap, but it is 16 pounds total weight. It's taken me about 10 minutes to go back and forth on either side of this fence, but it really is coming along. I do appreciate how heavy duty this trimmer is. I will say though, without this back strap, I don't know if I'd be able to carry it. It is a necessity. I've gotten to the point where I notice my string is getting a little short, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this on, and then I'm gonna tap the little button to the ground, and that's gonna cause it to send some more string out. There we go. You can actually probably hear that the string came out, and now it's probably twice as long as it was before. That's cool hands-free feature. You just tap it down and hold until you get your string length that you want. I'm gonna show you how to replace the string in your trimmer. First thing you're gonna do are there are these spots on each side that just push in. So I'm gonna push one on the bottom and the top, and it just pops out the string line. See how that is lined up that way? Now we're gonna actually take our string line out. Now this one of course is fully loaded, but if it was not, I would want to follow the exact same setup that is here now and rewind the wires entirely. Just for fun, I unwound the wire completely. So what you do is you have one looped around, and then there's a spot that you can go onto both sides, and you're really just going to be winding the cord or the wire in the same direction all the way around. They do label it for you to try to keep it as simple as possible, but as you're winding the cord, you just go in that same direction. Now one of the strings is going to come out on the left side, and the other one's going to come out on the right side. Let's reassemble it back now. Here's our connection piece. So what I do is I line this button that goes through on the bottom. I'm going to pull this cord around so it can fit through here. See how it fits? On the other side, the cord's going to fit there. There we go. Now our cord is back in place. With the cord back in place, we align it right back here to the trimmer into our notch spots and lock this down again. There we go. We're all loaded again. I've gotten really good use out of this string trimmer. What I like about it is its versatility and ease of which it can fit into small spaces. Even around these rocks, there are tight areas where this trimmer is able to just get in and around, and it makes it look really, really good. In this clip, I'm highlighting the guard because the guard is there to make sure you do not go too low towards the grass. And as you can see, if the guard hits the ground, my trimmer actually doesn't get any closer to the ground. Therefore, I'm keeping even cutting height all the way around. With that guard on, you turn it from just trimming around the rocks to now trimming in big open areas, and therefore you can actually see the uniformity of one side to the other just because that guard is in place. And for those of you that were worried, yes, I did go back and make sure I got that tall blade of grass off of the rock. I just didn't see it when I was originally working, but it's now gone. I've been trimming now for the last 45 minutes and my personal battery is worn down. Let's see how far this one is. Wow, I still have 3 out of 5 bars. I'm tired. I'm gonna take a break. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of the 60-volt battery-operated trimmer? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. In this video, we are taking a look at a 60-volt 2-speed brushless motor string trimmer. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. We mentioned it earlier, and in my opinion, based on the quality and durability of this trimmer, it's actually a really good deal. After my break was over, I was able to get this trimmer to run for an additional 45 minutes, which, if you think about it, an hour and a half total runtime before I need to recharge was pretty good, because I'm not gonna wanna trim any more than an hour and a half as it is. As a comparison, I did run it completely on high, and I got just under 50 minutes, so you do cut your time almost in half if you use it on high versus on low. Anyway, that was my full review of the NovorikX 60V String Trimmer. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.